This is a love story. After they first met over 50 years ago, Gordie Alberg of Saanich can finally call her his own.
Put me on cloud 9 is what it does, yeah.
Maybe cloud 16 would be more appropriate. 16's the number you'll find boldly emblazoned on his 1965 Indy car.
Top speed 185, 190.
When Gordie says top speed 190, he's talking miles per hour. That's over 300 kilometers an hour.
You'll probably notice there's no air dams, there's no spoilers. This is just a rocket ship. The sound is unbelievable.
It was love at first sound. He first met Old Bess, as she's come to be known, at the Indy 500 in 1965. Gordie, who loved racing and building cars, was in the stands when she took to the track for a test run.
And I had a can of beer in my hand with about a half an inch of beer in it. When this thing came down the grandstand straight away, my beer can was just vibrating with the intensity and the high RPMs of this engine. They make 500 horsepower at 10,000 RPM. They just scream.
Unfortunately for us, we're not able to hear Old Bess scream today because she was being prepared to be transported to a car show. Old Bess was built by racing legend Rolla Volstead.
Of all the Volstead cars, it's ran more races than any other car that he built. 15 years ago, it was totally restored back to the way it was run in 1965 at Indianapolis. Very unique engine. The engine came out in 1964, and it was built by Ford, and it has 3 or 4 names, but the most common name is it's called the Quad Cam Ford V8. Ford only built 55 of these engines, but the acceleration is unbelievable. 255 cubic inch displacement. The headers are where on a V8 engine normally the intake is. So the injectors come out where the exhaust normally goes out, and the exhaust comes out where the intake normally is.
He says she's worth between $200,000 and $300,000. Gordie chased Old Bess for the past 30 years to add her to his collection of classic cars. His love affair with cars goes back to childhood.
From the time I was 4 years old, I was taking things apart. I couldn't put them together back then, but I was taking them apart and eventually learned to put them together. Became a machinist and a welder fabricator over my career, and that was right in line with what I do. Very tight and comfortable once you're in. It's just like putting my best sports jacket on, going out for a dance.
Many famous drivers have sat where Gordie's sitting.
Gordon John Cox, Tom Sneva, Johnny Rutherford, Mario Andretti, Cale Yarborough. With the first 4 that I mentioned are all after they had run this car, eventually became Indy 500 winners.
Gordie's dream is to take his love back to where they first met in 1965.
As long as it runs real well, the plan is to go to Indianapolis in 2017 for the May Vintage race.
I wondered if they get to the Indy Vintage race, will Gordie go for a nice, leisurely Sunday drive around the track? Nope.
Probably 130, 140, maybe 150 even, but about 150 in this car is just like driving 60 miles an hour down the freeway. I'm dying to feel the acceleration in it.
I guess you never do forget your first love, especially when she still gets your heart racing. In Saanich, I'm Dan Kahan.